What's up? We're back. We are back, and this is the trial run episode of the Mobile Mayhem weekly recap. So what we're going to be talking about today is first a preview of what's to come and what the rules are, the structure of the Mobile Mayhem tournament. We've also got some of the gameplay, the results, everything from this past week in Mobile Mayhem competition. There's some interesting things going on in the competition right now, and much of what we're going to focus on for today is the North America gameplay so far. So for the show today, we're going to go through some rules. We're going to talk about how the matches, the maps, the game modes are picked, what's available to pick from the pool there, and then we'll get into the NA games from Bobby's cast this week, and then some of the results. So let's go. The rules are interesting with Mobile Mayhem because what they do is they remove a lot about what people complain about in the game, a lot about what people have been complaining about in ranked play. It removes a lot of those factors and evens out the gameplay in a way that focuses on the skill of the players, the tactics, and the objectives on the game. And so it forces objective play by eliminating certain aspects of the game, which obviously tends to make for a better gameplay experience for everybody that's there. So we'll go through the rules here because I know a lot of people, especially most of this show is coming straight in from my stream, as this is the first episode. We haven't done a lot of public announcements, and the stream is going to go essentially wild once we get all of the announcements out on social media and really pick up with a full week of play here coming up in week 2. So getting into the rules for Mobile Mayhem, all gun skins are allowed in the game, so you can use legendary gun skins. You can really take advantage of any of the available blueprints with their iron sights. So the field is completely open on gun skins that are allowed. There are some operator skills, however, that are banned. So Hive, Transform Shield, Ballistic Shield, all 3 of those are banned for all games, all competition play. And then additionally, something that I think mixes up the gameplay and forces some decisions, a more varied play style, is that each player must choose a different operator skill for the game. So what you have is 5 players, 5 different operator skills, and that's going to vary the gameplay. That's going to force people to specialize in certain operators, and you'll get a lot more action in each of the games that way. Now, the NA-45 is the only weapon that's banned outright for gameplay in Mobile Mayhem, all competition. The NA4, I mean, like Day said on Bobby's cast, sniper rocket launchers. It affects the pace of play too much and changes the dynamic. So the NA-45 is the only weapon that is an outright ban. And then we have lethals. So trip mines, mollies, and thermites are banned completely, which opens up a lot of action for sticky grenades and frag grenades. That's what you see most of the time, as well as the tacticals like smokes and trophy systems. And so those lethals are banned. Score streaks, UAV, counter UAV, and care package, as well as hunter killer are banned outright. And then there's a limit to 2 RC cars per team per game. And so by putting those limits on the score streaks and additionally with persistence and tracker banned, what you see with score streaks is when you see somebody pull out an XS1 Goliath or even more rarely a VTOL, they got that on that single kill streak, and you don't see a lot of those persistence users. Frankly, if persistence is in the game, it makes total sense for at least 1 or 2 people on each team to be running persistence, and then you start to see games end with dominating score streaks instead of exciting tactical play. So that's why we've got those bans there. There are no banned character skins, so you'll see some variation there. We're not going to limit people to the free-to-play character skins this season at all. We don't see that typically in Mobile Mayhem, and I think it's good for the game, it's good for Trovo, and it's good for the tournament series in general to feature all of that content. And then there is a ban on iPads for Mobile Mayhem, and Bobby's chat went crazy during his stream when he talked about the ban on iPads. People got a little upset for a second, thinking that might be a COD Mobile all across competitive play or even a COD Mobile policy. No, just for Mobile Mayhem. And then like I said, that ban on persistence, big score streaks are much harder to earn this season, so it's exciting when those come out. Now, with each game, with each matchup, teams are able to ban one gun and one game mode map combination, and so you'll see those come up in the screens when you're watching the games live. And then we've got some adjustments to the way the rules are going to go for each game mode. So this is one of my favorite parts about Mobile Mayhem. In the way the tournament is structured, there is a real focus on maneuver. There's a real focus on in-game leadership, right? With the way these game modes are set up, in-game leadership and the tactical callouts become more and more important. An example here. So 250 points for Hardpoint. Now, the map limitations for Hardpoint are Hackney Yard, Scrapyard, Summit, and Crash. Now, with 250 points for Hardpoint, what that does is that opens the game up so that 2 bad breaks where you wipe your team on a break and you don't get the point break, you don't take control of the Hardpoint, and you lose an entire run of 2 Hardpoints in a row, let's say that happens, or 2 Hardpoints early in the game. That's not a game-ending loss when you have a 250-point hardpoint. So the reason for that, it extends the tactical requirements. You can't just dominate 2 points early and have that game in the bag, essentially. It allows teams to have multiple chances and requires defending teams on the hardpoint to have defense strategies for every hardpoint in the rotation. And so, yeah, we've got a longer format for hardpoint with 250 points. And then we've got the domination game mode for Mobile Mayhem is going to have 100-point rounds with a 5-minute limit per round. So that's that 300-second round limit each time. Again, extending the game. And the maps for domination are Hackney Yard, Summit, Standoff, Raid, and Firing Range. And then with Search and Destroy, we've got a 6-round limit with Standoff, Raid, Meltdown, Firing Range, and Crossfire. In many of these matchups, you're always going to see a Search and Destroy and a Respawn objective map. And so typically what you see is that hardpoint S&D domination rotation in these matchups. So those are the game modes. And with those adjustments, I think it makes the gameplay exciting. And so we're going to see some of that here in a second. Now, the rosters, when we watch these games here in a second and start going through some of the results, the rosters are not locked until the 3rd week of Mobile Mayhem. So what you're going to see here is a lot of teams trying out brand new players in these couple of weeks, these first couple of weeks of competition. And then following that first couple of weeks, you're going to see some roster changeouts. You're going to see some free agents get picked up by teams, some new teams, and some roster adjustments. We've got some key free agents out there like Tectonic, for example, and it's going to be interesting to see in the next coming couple of days or weeks. You know, he's obviously going to get picked up for a team. He's one of the best players coming off of the regional championship team for the COD Mobile World Championships. And so keep that in mind as we look at these games, and then keep an eye out for how some of these free agents get picked up in the next couple of weeks. All right, so we're going to get into some of these games here and transition to the gameplay from this week. You see the matches. These are the matchups for NA for the first week of gameplay. We'll go through, and I'm going to show you results for EU and Latin America as well at the end here. So we see Nova Imperium matched up with Aura, Tribe Game matched up with Team 11, NL Esports, and Zygnus, as well as Xset versus Nova Invictus, and the final matchup, Exiled versus Team Fierce. So getting into some of these games, we saw the matchup between Nova Imperium and Aura start out, and this was an interesting one. Bobby and Day on the cast here. Let's check it out.
For Nova Imperium, we'll see if Aura is able to make this rotation, potentially hold down, control the hard point. At least for a solid amount of this hard point, they're really going to need it if they're going to be able to close that gap. And that was a really good hardpoint for Nova Imperium.
We see Nova Imperium here early in their game on hardpoint, dominated the first hardpoint and got an early lead. And Wally, High, and Swag were just absolutely slaying Aura early in the game.
What that means is the 2 most dominant guns in the competitive scene are still in play. And that is part of the reason that you'll see the majority of these players are using it. The HVK and the ICR, and I believe 1 LK are the only exceptions that we see for that. But
Now, what Bobby's talking about here is that in this game, we had banned guns, but we had the DRH and the ASM-10 in play, and that's what you're going to see as some of the most dominant guns in the game, and so that's what you see many of the players here playing with. Let's check out some more of this action.
To see most of these players that are top fragging right now pulling out the ASM-10, and bye-bye. Even though new to the scene, 11 kills.
Going further into the game here, we've got Nova Imperium up 176 to 82, dominating the hardpoint game this past week against Aura.
20-digit mark. I mean, this has just been a constant kill feed for the side of Imperium. Aura are performing pretty well, but some of the players that we would expect to be doing a little better on this roster, Soso and Main Mike, are struggling towards the middle of the pack. And with only 50 points to go and 82 on the board for Aura, definitely starting to think that this one is just going to be a Imperium landslide for game one. As you mentioned, domination and hardpoint will both be a little bit longer. So if Aura can pull through a little better performance in certain...
Now, as we move through this game, what we saw from Nova Imperium was dominating defense on the hardpoint. And if you look at these kill counts right now, you may not be able to see because of some of this resolution, but Nova, High, Nova, we got High, Wally, Swag, all at 17, 21, 19, and then followed up with 19 and 19. Look at these, everybody's around 20. And then when we see from Aura is people in the teens with retrospect in the single digits here. So at this point in the game, Nova Imperium really had all of the momentum and were completely dominating gameplay. Now, as we fast forward in the game, you see finally, this is how it ended.
Into the hard point for Aura, trying to take control. His gravity spikes will not be able to land. It will be control going on over to Nova Imperium once again. Even though we do have a push coming in, as Retrospect is able to hop on in, he still hasn't been able to move above that 5 kill mark. And Nova Imperium just needing about 9 more seconds to be able to close this one out.
Yeah, and it's a super rough spot to be in if you are Aura. You can't give up any trickle points at the beginning of a hard point, as well as none at the end. And when it's under 10 points, that is an incredibly, incredibly hard margin to hold, as we do see Jingo picking up the kill onto Swag there. They'll maintain control of this hardpoint for now, but even if they hold this whole hardpoint, it's still Imperium 9 points away from victory, and by the end of it, it'll...
Now, at the end of this game, Wally was absolutely on a crazy kill streak. You see his kill count up to 30. He picked up the XS1 Goliath, clears out the hardpoint here for the final 9 points in absolutely dominant fashion. Nova Wally really shining during this game with his control of the hardpoint and running those kills up to 31 by the end. You can see at the end of the game here, we've got 250 to 132. Nova Imperium absolutely dominated the game with their control, and Aura could not quite pick up enough momentum to get those kills, be successful on their hardpoint breaks, and consistently hold the hardpoint. Now, with this game, one of the things we want to talk about is what guns were banned and which ones were not, and this is the banned list for the gun skins. The guns and the maps that we saw. We're going to pull up this list so I can show you which teams banned what. Now we have for that matchup, the map bans were Hackney Yard and Scrapyard. We had match 1 was this hardpoint on standoff. Match 2 was Search and Destroy on raid. Match 3 was domination, planned for domination on firing range. But in the second match between Imperium and Aura, we saw that win for Search and Destroy for Imperium, closing it out 2-0. Now getting into the next set of games here, we have Team 11 up against Tribe. This game was Tribe's first performance coming into Mobile Mayhem, and it's going to be interesting to see how everything turned out with Tribe. I think a lot of people saw there was some controversy in this game, so we are going to check this thing out.
And Tribe is flooding the feed right now, Bobby. That was like 5 or 6 kills in a row going straight on over to the side of Tribe. Yuji and Wero finally able to answer back for the team. And this may be a little bit of an opening break. Man, just as I say that, my goodness, Tribe is absolutely killing it right now.
I mean, between Slothy and Jez, they've already got 13 kills, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that's more than all the Levante has combined right now, as they are absolutely frying. Already up to 15. They are going to give up a little bit of time to Levante right here, but Bolu's going to shut it down. He's going to get the 2-piece, and just like that, Jez and Bolu holding down the hard point all by themselves. Jez gets the frag right there. He is going to get shot from behind by Yuji, who is moving up to 7 kills, but Bolu, the team leader, the IGL, pushing in, making plays time and time again, even though the hard point's unoccupied right now.
Now, this is the kind of gameplay that we expect to see from Bolu consistently. Bolu, the in-game leader for Tribe, was dominating control of these hard points, and Tribe got up to a very early lead in this matchup. Now, as the game progressed, we saw Tribe extend that lead, and we're going to pick up with a 117-15 lead, Tribe Gaming over Team 11 here.
Got set up, unfortunately, still didn't quite work out for them as they did get guns right off of the point. But man, this is a Tribe. I mean, this is just a Tribe kill fest.
This is an absolute slaughter. There's nobody. There's one person usually in double digits right now for this 11D team, and Tribe is absolutely running through, even though they were perfectly set up on P3 or P4. Tribe just completely shut it down. A-Flows is not missing a shot right now. Weir is finally able to get the kill on the top side. He's got the ASM-10 out. Might be able to get the contest for a little bit right here, but Bolu's going to shut it down. Tribe is completely in control. They got 10 times the amount of points of.
Now you can hear Bobby how excited he is in this cast. Tribe was absolutely controlling. They were winning every gunfight, and this is the kind of gameplay we expect to see from the North American Regional Championship team. You'll notice we're missing Tectonic here, and that's just an absolutely huge loss for Tribe to not have him on the team. He's a free agent, and we're going to see who picks him up here in the near future. But you see Tribe absolutely controlling the middle of the map here with an XS1 Goliath out. Reminder, no persistence. So massive score streaks coming in this game. We pick up further in the game. Excuse me, this is, jumping back. But at this point, so with Tribe in the game right now, they have a massive dominating lead over Team 11, and that's the way this whole matchup went. As we go further in the matchup, you see it's 215-42, and absolute control throughout the entire game.
The loss of a couple of players from their starting roster. You can see Jez, Slothy, A-Flows, even Saizu, who was struggling toward the beginning of the game, already up to 15 kills.
Bolu just wrecking the team with the Annihilator there. He is the Annihilator carrier for Tribe here, and he's getting score streak after score streak as he extends the lead for Tribe here to 242-42.
To 42, a 200-point lead for Tribe. I was really hoping that this was going to be a close one, but it seems pretty obvious, at least for game one, that is not going to be the case. Bolu is fragging out of his mind right now. Just thought maybe I've got a chance to get a little bit of time for my team. We actually are going to have Bolu taken out by the FHJ right there.
This game ended in dominating fashion for Tribe, defeating 11 with a massive lead in the hard point, and you can see those kill counts with Bolu up at 23, leading the way for Team Tribe. Now, this matchup was absolutely dominant, but this is what we expect to see from a team like Tribe. I see you in the chat. Original Sauce says Tribe is OP, and maybe they are here in Mobile Mayhem. This is just week one of competition, but they really put on a show in their matchup with Team 11. Now, here is the controversy. Tribe, after winning that series 2-0, was disqualified from these matches. Tribe was DQ'd, and the reason for that is that they were missing screenshots. Now, Mobile Mayhem requires each player to pull, I believe, 4 screenshots per game. That's 5 players, 4 screenshots per game for a total of 40. Tribe was missing 2 of those screenshots, and because they're missing the screenshots, which is Mobile Mayhem's verification process for both the device that the player is playing on and the account player matchup, everything like that. It's a verification process with Mobile Mayhem to take screenshots during the game, and they're missing 2 of those screenshots. Tribe, unfortunately, was disqualified to Team 11. 11 walks away with that win, and even though Tribe had a dominant performance. Now, this is early in the season. It's unfortunate to see it go down that way, but Tribe's gameplay was an absolute preview of what's to come. Bolu, in-game leader, with that dominant win in Hardpoint. Now, this is the next game. We've got some highlights from the Tribe 11 Search and Destroy that followed that Hardpoint. Let's check it out.
But nowhere near the commanding lead that Jez has really provided the team. Slothy is able to pick up 1. Jez finds kill number 12. And with just 2 members of 11T remaining against 4 members of Tribe, as Zai is able to pick up 1. Slothy finds UG. Zai actually finds another kill, but again, all 3 remaining members of Tribe are collapsing onto him. There is the kill. I didn't get to see who that went over to, but the 6-1 victory going over to the side of Tribe, bouncing off of that incredibly one-sided hardpoint as well. I mean, as far as Tribe versus 11T win, at least for this matchup, they weren't even in the same ballpark. Tribe just...
Now, if we look at this kill count, we see Jez absolutely carrying the day. Jez and Slothy dominated this Search and Destroy match. Jez with 12 kills, tripling the top player for 11T. UG bringing in 4. So this is a dominant victory as well for Tribe, but missing those screenshots resulted in the disqualification. Now, moving on to our next matchup, we saw Team Zygnus against NL Esports in the hardpoint. NL Esports got out to an early lead in this game with some early kills, stacked up the kills, and dominated that first hardpoint, and this is where we pick up.
And in a 250-point game of hardpoint, to be up 50 points off the start, definitely a good sign. With Raven even dropping off after 10 kills, he's got a cluster strike to work with. Probably not looking to waste that anytime soon, as his team is completely in control of this hardpoint. Could potentially get some really easy frags on the outside, but just not really any need to use it. You can see Loyal looking to make the push on in. Smoke's going to be really crucial for Zygnus right now, but with S-Thug being the only player above 3 kills and just everybody fragging out for NL right now, looking like they're off to a pretty solid start. We do finally have the break coming in for Zygnus. Raven not spotting Loyal on that backside, but has the perfect pre. Like they're off to a pretty solid.
We pick up here, and as you notice, NL Esports continues to increase their lead, but Zygnus got the hard point back, got this game a lot closer. It looked like NL Esports was going to run away with this one. The second and third hard points told a different story, and we saw Zygnus come back in this hard point matchup as we continue here. Zygnus going down to several kills in a row, but then being able to stack the team up here in the hard point and dominate this basketball court's hard point here, and really bring the game much more competitive. We saw a lot of excitement in this game, and as we continue to move forward, Zygnus took the lead, really putting the pressure on NL Esports.
Killing it, bodying people left and right. 14 kills on the board, gets a hit marker and gets dropped there. But, you know, overall, still strong performance coming out of him. Big turn as the team does pick up a couple kills on the rotation over to basketball court. Lead is in favor of Zygnus at this point, and what started like such a massive lead for the side of NL has very quickly started to fall apart a little bit. So we'll have to see if NL are able to regroup and get things together here, as they had strong control over the mid objectives. So
now, at this point in the game, Zygnus had all of the momentum. NL was reeling from a bunch of kills in a row and trying to get the team organized again to control mid. And at this point, Zygnus was in dominant control of these hard points, and the game was extremely competitive and fast paced, and we had no idea who was going to come out with the victory here. But as we progressed in the game, what we saw was NL Esports pick up their hard point control again, get control of the flow of the game here, and in this kitchen hard point, they absolutely dominated with multiple kills in a row, perfect RC car placement.
Not going to be able to win the gunfight. Ninja's going to be able to hop up right here. He's in good position to allow them to be able to get the retake, but already down 30 points and not really a whole lot of time left on this hill. You got to wonder whether or not it's worth it. And as you look, NL already set up perfectly over on P3. They are looking really, really content right now to go ahead and play this one. Envoy's going to absolutely beam. The player coming down through red, and S-Thug struggling since the beginning of the game. He was really stuck at 19 kills for quite a while and has struggled since then to be able to muster a whole lot. You can see still a 20-point lead. Contest going on for a
Now, as the game progressed here, we saw NL Esports control the majority of each hard point, and coming into the end,
or he's off. Once he starts to get into it, does not miss a shot. We see him getting another one right there, still staying at top frag. 31 kills on the board. He's going to need to keep everybody out for NL, but he's doing it right now. He is not missing. He misses a couple on to Cheto right there, but now makes the push in. His teammates should be able to hop onto the hard point soon, and he does have the, unfortunate Annihilator in hand, but the Shock RC perfectly timed. That's going to shut him down. That does allow NL to push back in, and it looks like they are going to be able to close this one out. The War Machine gets a couple kills. The contest going in for the time being. Only one more second needed. They're able to get his Shadow gets the kill onto Loyal.
Now we saw that the end of that game was really dictated by that one play with the perfect Shock RC placement, taking the Annihilator out for S-Thug and allowing NL Esports to control that final hard point. That NL Esports won that very, very close game and came out of that with a win over Zygnus. Now, the next game and the last game that we're going to cover before we get ZIM on the line here is Nova Invictus versus XSET, and this is how we started out.
And move forward with it. Again, this is such a dangerous hard point to try to control. Even if you get in and get the zone, you could be wallbanged or from any which direction. So,
and Cypher is doesn't even care. Doesn't even care about the wall base, just frying anybody that enters into the hard point. Pretty much single-handedly holding that down for Nova Invictus right now. They're off to a good start. It is going to be XSET getting the push in. Impulsive's ready. Decipher says not today. It's finally Medusa shutting things that are actually Legacy shutting things down. He's got the QXR, aka the...
Now this one started out really exciting with Decipher having some dominating play on the hard point and a really close one between Nova Invictus and XSET, excuse me. But then throughout this game, Nova Invictus picked up their hard point control and started to dominate. You see here we pick up with 155-32 mid-game.
And Parrish, one of the newer players to Mobile Mayhem, not really having any trouble at all. He is frying right now, 75 points off of another Pred missile. He's already got one Goliath in his hands and just not really having any type of an issue handling this XSET team. Looking to put down his Goliath right here. It looks like he'll be able to easily pick it up. And with a 140-point lead already in hand for Nova Invictus, just looking untouchable to this XSET team. A Goliath and a sentry gun on the hill. Not something that you really want to see if you are XSET. That should be pretty close to a guaranteed 50 points for this Nova Invictus team. Peralta sending through the SMRS or the FHJ, but Parrish probably...
Now we see, again, dominating performance for Nova Invictus. The XS1 Goliath on the hard point here is going to be really difficult to break, bringing them over 200 points. And then as we pick up here later, or excuse me, this is an earlier clip in the game. As we pick up here later, we've got 226-48, and we'll see how Nova Invictus closed this one out.
every single Nova Invictus player is in double digits. And also has more kills than the top fragger for XSET. So it looks like it's only going to be a matter of time. Somehow, XSET has been able to prolong the inevitable. Band is able to get a frag right there. Trades going in left and right. And somehow XSET actually able to get pretty close to max time on that hard point. Definitely a really good start for them if they're going to make any progress toward winning this game. But they've got a long way to go. Impulsive wins a much-needed gunfight right there, and it does look like it is going to be Nova on the hard point. They only need about 12 seconds right here. Impulsive pushing in, trying to hold the contest for as
Now, what we saw in the end of this game was XSET started to pick their game up. They got some key kills and looked like they might get some hard point control, but Nova Invictus was able to lock it down. They won this game, and then they followed that up with a win in Search and Destroy for the 2-0 sweep. Now, these games were all very exciting, some more dominant performances than others, and as we saw in the gameplay, a lot of back and forth on some of those hard point matches. So it's going to be exciting to see where we go next with these matchups and who is going to come out on top. Now, we're going to cover all of the results from NA, EU, and Latin America on the results screen at the end of the show here. But what I'm going to do now is get in touch with ZIM, bring ZIM onto the show so we can ask him some questions. And he's coming off of the NA Regional Champions team coach position and is a part of Mobile Mayhem. Let's see if we can get ZIM on the call.
Hello.
Hey, Zim, how's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing pretty well. So,
Hey, Zim, how's it going?
I think we've got a little bit of echo there through Discord.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
anyway, so we just finished up watching some of the highlights from the first week of gameplay, and one of the big notable games that we saw was Tribe with a dominating performance, but a DQ because of those screenshots in that first. I mean, we all kind of expected to see that level of play from Tribe. Bolu himself with a dominating performance as the in-game leader. What were your impressions of their gameplay starting out and how they performed there?
I mean, following the previous championship roster disband and kind of getting a peek at what their new roster would be, everybody knows that they're going to be good. They're going to be good for some time. It's a really strong team, top to bottom. And I honestly expected them to do exactly what it was that they did. But the small little things and the new rules and the new policies that Mobile Mayhem has in place, that's clearly communicated to everybody several times prior to the opening of the season. Things that if you're a pro team, you just gotta nail it down, gotta make sure you're doing it. And the good thing for Tribe is that they did win in such a fashion that what was appropriate for the caliber of their team, and hopefully they can continue that and follow the policies.
Yeah. I think the gameplay that we saw and the level of performance is an indicator of what's to come from them. And this is one of those. It's a simple mistake. It's easily overlooked, and I doubt it is one anyone's going to make 2 times in a row. So, I know that a lot of people, especially on the stream, aren't as familiar with Mobile Mayhem, the structure. So, what are you doing here at Mobile Mayhem for the winter 2021 season?
Well, ever since the game essentially really kind of spawned about 2 years ago, we've kind of been doing these little community tournaments, and it's evolved into a league, and it's been a project of ours for a long time under different names. The Omen Challenger series, we did it under Mobile Mayhem. We did it at a smaller degree. I run the North American region, which is our flagship region. It was our first original region. We organized the teams. We put events in all of the game modes, Battle Royale and in multiplayer. We organized the rule sets. We add competitive integrity to the game, just so you're not running around playing competitive public matches. And we kind of make it flow in such a way that's entertaining for the viewer. And a little bit more competitive for the individual that's playing.
Yeah, that's a good overview. And I was talking earlier on the show about the rules and kind of how the rules affect the pace of play, the tactics used. I really like the increased point format for domination and hardpoint and the limitations on persistence, operator skills. I think it really forces multiple hardpoint breaks per game and forces teams to be able to adjust and really let tactics and positioning lead the way instead of those persistence VTOLs at the end.
Right, we have a lot of like really young players in our scene. I think the average age for the professional player that's elite is about 16 to 17, and then you have outliers that are above 18 plus. But considering the talent at the 18 plus level compared to the 16 plus level, it's night and day. So the 16 plus players are really where the top end of the competitive talent is, and a lot of them, since they're so young and this is maybe their first COD, or they don't remember playing different console CODs.
They're not an old Black Ops 2 player like me.
Yeah, they're definitely not old school players. They don't know MWT. They don't know nothing about high rise. They don't know nothing about scrapyard. They're just running around and gunning, and some of them are really good at it. It gets them by, and they do really well. So having a longer game, or rather starting with the 150, which is kind of what rank is right now, you fly through it so quickly, and you don't really have the chance to experience an entire map, an entire competitive kind of cycle of things in a respawn, for example. And even prior, when it was 10 rounds in S&D, you don't really feel what COD was and is. And since some of these guys are so talented at just running around and murdering everything in their sight, they don't get into the deeper portion of the game. And I think this season, with the extended rules, you'll see a lot of like you were kind of talking about, a lot of like hardcore gas in the early game, stomp a team, and then those like veteran teams, those people who they've played the CODs, the games are longer now, they understand how to play the next point, that it's not 0.3 anymore, it's 0.4, it's 0.5, and then you start it all over again. And you'll see those veteran teams kind of claw back a lot more, and it'll be really entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I think so too. The late game exciting finishes are what a lot of people love to see, and I think this game format makes for more of those. Less VTOL finishes, more last minute hard point breaks to get the win, and that's exciting. So another thing that we saw is obviously right now in the game meta, the ASM-10 and the DRH, the LK-24, a few others are pretty dominant. We saw the Chopper getting banned quite a bit, as well as the ASM-10 in the first week. Do you think that's going to be pretty consistent over these next couple of weeks with those weapons and what everyone chooses to ban as a team?
I think as the season evolves, more and more teams will kind of look towards their peers for ideas on what it is that they should be running. Like the Man-O-War is something that kind of came out of nowhere, and our team originally started running it, and then it was pretty good, and people that we were scrimming caught on, and then they put it out, and it's kind of, it has to, I think teams have to be not afraid to be innovative and run the weapon at the bottom of the gun list and try it out. And as stuff like that kind of goes on, you'll see that almost every weapon is viable, and if you put it in the right hands, it can be a monster in any hand. So ASM-10, one of the weapons that you were talking about, that's going to be a really common ban. A lot of people just don't even want to play against it, so you'll see in a lot of series that's going to be an auto.
Yep.
HVK in the past, it was like the strongest weapon. This season, after the nerf, it's kind of gone out of the window a little bit, but there's still some really strong users. Outside of the ASM, I think a lot of people use that second ban to kind of target an individual on the other team.
I think so. I mean, you see a lot of people out there with extremely high skill levels in a gun that they've been using for quite a while, and making them change up their routine might throw a whole team's cadence off. Yeah, definitely. So are there any teams or matchups that you're particularly excited to see, or that you think will be highly contested?
I'm excited to see the kind of new era of Tribe. I think that they're evolve into the next kind of team that they want to be. That'll be a really interesting process to kind of see through this season and through other competitions and so on and such, because they kind of take away the structure, and they just kind of put a bunch of people on that are like really nasty at the game, which is great, and we'll see if that can sustain. So that's something that's a really big question mark for me, and I'll be watching it really closely. Besides that, we're all on phone now, so all of the people who are like really nasty on iPad, they have significantly dropped off, and now they start the transition to phone. And I've got my eyes on Imperium, a team that was at the top team, maybe second best team in the game with the iPads. You take away the iPads and I'm looking over my shoulder, but
yeah, definitely.
They're not in the top 5 in my opinion now.
Yeah,
so.
they had good gameplay in week 1, but it's really interesting to see how that transition goes for people. You see a lot of people out there with like Little B making the transition to phone, and his commentary around it, and a lot of people say it's like a 4 to 6 week transition, but at this level of gameplay, I think it's going to take a little longer than that to really make the full adjustment.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think a lot of the transition is really mental. Obviously, there's mechanical, transitioning. It's a smaller screen. Your hands. You got to figure it out. Your HUD and all that. But the primary bulk of my work is like a lot of people forget that my team in the past, that our tribe team that won the regional championship, those were a bunch of iPad warrior people too, and the hurdle for them was the mental aspect of it. It's like, it's a new device, I'm gonna suck on it. And for Little B in particular, I think the mechanics were never like bad. I think it was that mental thing. He just never fully grasped it, and it took him much longer. But I've always been on record saying, like, if you are truly an elite player, the transition to phone should take a week.
Wow, a week, huh?
A week.
Yeah, and
Tech did it. In fact, Tech did it in 3 days.
Yeah, and we saw the results of that as well. And his commentary around that transition is that if you focus, if you don't think the whole time, man, this would have been better on an iPad, then the transition goes quickly. And if you just dedicate yourself to that, then you should be able to do it just fine.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, well, we're gonna get into this week's top play of the week next. But thanks for coming on, man. Anything else? Any other thoughts for the winter 2021 season going into this?
I think it's going to be a really great season. I implore all of the viewers not just to kind of stick to North America, stick to what you know, stick around and watch around for the other regions. You can find EU on FlowSkills channel, and then Latin America, which is another really dominant region, on AO's channel on Trovo, and I think you'll find a lot of gems, and you'll see kind of people crossing over into the regions and playing with each other. So definitely keep an eye out. Stick towards the end of the season. Find a team to support and rock with them the entire way through. And we really kind of start to grow the grassroots of what our esport is going to be right here.
Yeah, that's exciting, and with these matchups we've got coming, there's absolutely going to be some nail biter close games and some blowouts over the next couple of weeks. So I'd encourage everybody to watch. And so, I'm telling you, some of the most exciting commentary you'll see is in South America, Latin America as well. Those guys get hyped on the broadcast, and it's a lot of fun.
For sure.
All right. Well, thanks for hopping in the call in the recap show this week. We'll catch up with you later, and we're going to get right into the play of the week. Thanks, Tim.
No problem, man. Thank you.
All right. Going into the play of the week, we're going to pick right back up here, and this was from one of the first games we saw. Absolutely dominating performance, and we're going to pick it up with Swag on the play of the week. Here we go.
Really good game for him, but just some unfortunate circumstances right here is this Aura team has really not had anything go their way.
Yeah, and Swag, definitely kind of a well-known player for, if he gets a hit marker, he will whip that pistol out and one-tap you in a heartbeat. Seeing it right there, able to get the hit marker onto Mike over the head glitch. After taking quite a few bullets on his own, whips out the pistol, able to pick that kill up. Wally picks up a kill onto Soso. That's their second kill. Main Mike is going to trade it out for High. Actually, 5 and Main Mike find a couple more kills as well. They find another onto Bye Bye. Both players picking up a double kill. It's now Swag all alone. Can he clutch up for the team?
Oh, no.
Finds one onto Main Mike.
Oh,
Can he
no.
find 5 as well?
Oh,
There's
no.
the shot right off the head glitch. Swag is a nut. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Swag, you didn't have to do it to him. But
And that does it. Swag with dominating performance at the sniper rifle there. And we have the first weekly recap complete. Swag with the crazy snipe in that play. Had to do it to him at the end of the game there. We're going to turn this into a top 5 plays of the week with votes going out in the Discord and on the channel. Thanks for checking this out, guys. Excited about this next couple of weeks of play in Mobile Mayhem. Going to be watching everything live myself. I'd encourage you to join me. We're going to blast this show out everywhere so that we get a huge audience for next week's show. This was the dry run, the rehearsal for the stream. You guys let me know in the Discord what you want to see on the show, what I need to fix, what I need to improve, and how excited you are about Mobile Mayhem coming into this winter 2021 season. Thanks for watching, guys. Modsix out.